At the beginning of mankind, these objects came to life. The first generation of instruments roamed the land. They were much less advanced thousands of years ago. The music we love listening to now could have all started off from only a single musical note from one of these instruments. Lots of people don't know when or even guess the wrong time when instruments were invented, because no one yet knows for a fact, not even scholars know the exact time instruments were created. Finding the actual date is known to be impossible. During the earlier times, these instruments were made from found objects. Basically, they were put together with items that were laying around. As time passes in the early years, the process of making an instrument gets less complicated. For example, silk drums were made from an open bamboo stick, but instruments started to evolve over time and become more advanced to become the instruments we use now. These musical inventions have always been part of history, and dates back many years ago. Instruments were used long ago for things besides entertainment, like hunting and war. During war, armies used to use the sound of drums and trumpets as symbols to communicate. Instruments are also used to be musically creative and to make varieties of styles of music to appeal to different people. Instruments have different categories and each play differently. String instruments like violins make sounds with the vibration of the strings. They can be plucked, flicked, struck, or bowed to make sounds. Strings are always connected to a resonator, which is a hollow structure usually made of wood. It amplifies the vibration and makes a sound. Brass instruments require vibration from the musician. If the musician wants to make a higher pitch, then they will have to tighten their lips. But if they want a lower pitch, they will have to relax their lips more. Blowing harder will make a louder sound, while blowing softer will make a more quiet sound. Some brass instruments use valves, and some use tubes to slide up and down to play different notes. Percussion instruments make sound when hit by stick or by hand. They also make noise by using vibrations. Drum headless instruments vibrate itself once it's hit. Woodwind instruments require air to be blown in, and there are tubes with holes in them which musicians cover to play notes. Some woodwind instruments need reeds and some are just played with air. Reed instruments like clarinets, oboes, and saxophones vibrate the reed while blowing to create music. People who write music are called composers. Classical composers can write instrument music that we hear all the time. Lots of composers have a keen intellect and deep thoughts to help them through the process of writing their music. Their inspiration could be from the world or just one musical note. Composers would try playing different notes and write them down using musical notations, although Mozart can remember his music and write it down later by memory. There are lots of ways to help instruments sound well. If the music was played off of a music sheet, then it would depend on the composer's work. They might use some musical techniques like ties and slurs. Ties are the same notes played without the musician tonguing or pausing in between. Slurs are played the same way but with two different notes. Musicians could be playing different instruments at the same time, but the music they play needs to flow and work well together. Classical instruments has evolved over the years, and now it's creating music that is well known across the world. Now that we know some of the history of these instruments, we can understand the importance of them serving many purposes.